Hey guys!
Hi.
We are so excited to be here and talk about one of our favorite topics today. This is Oogie Boogie Bash episode. So get ready. Woo! So Oogie Boogie Bash, if you don't know what that is, it is a Disneyland version of what they have at Walt Disney World, which is Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. This takes place in California Adventure. A few years ago, they used to have what they called Mickey's Halloween Party in Disneyland, but starting in about 2018, they transferred over to DCA and started Oogie Boogie Bash, and it is one of the most popular events, I think, in any Disney park. Tickets go so fast. It's an after dark event. It starts at 6 p.m. It's 3 days a week through the Halloween season, and if you don't have tickets for it already, unfortunately, it is already too late to get tickets for it. But if you do have tickets for it and you're one of the lucky few headed to Oogie Boogie Bash this season and you've never been, or you have been and want some tips, this is the episode for you. So stay tuned. We're going to dive right in.
Okay, we want to start with a little bit of housekeeping, a little bit of like Oogie Boogie Bash 101. So if you have never done Oogie Boogie Bash, or if it's been a while or you don't remember, these are the basics. First of all, your Oogie Boogie Bash ticket gives you access to California Adventure starting at 3 p.m. If you want to enter any park before that, you need to have a separate ticket. That will not help you, and it will also not let you get into Disneyland. So if you're like thinking at 3 p.m. you want to go to Disneyland, that's not happening. It's only for California Adventure. So starting at 3 p.m. you can enter the park. You can enter through the gates. You can enter through the Grand Californian entrance.
Although I have heard last year anyway that they cracked down on that. They were only letting Grand Californian guests into the Grand Californian entrance. And I'm not 100% sure on that.
So something to think about is definitely entering the park from the gates. If you only have an Oogie Boogie Bash ticket, you need to scan your Oogie Boogie Bash ticket to get into the park. If you have a magic key and a reservation for that day, you could fully enter the set. They have like gates that are just for Oogie Boogie Bash entrance, and then they have gates for just regular entrance. We find that it's easier to enter through the normal entrance if you have a ticket or a magic key pass for the day, and then check in inside the park.
So even if you do have a magic key pass, but you are only planning to basically go to Oogie Boogie that night, like you're local or whatever, I would still, if you have an open reservation, like she said, grab that slot and then plan to just enter, even if you're not taking advantage of your reservation earlier in the day, and they're basically two tickets doing the same thing.
Because the ticketed only lines tend to get long
and hot
out on the Esplanade. So it's nice to just kind of enter normal under your magic key, and then sometime between 3 and 6, you're going to need to go to designated areas inside the park to get your wristband so that you don't get kicked out. So last year we found a little spot kind of in that little like magic key only area across from Grizzly Peak. There's like a little area there you kind of walk through, and we literally walked up and handed them our tickets, and they gave us our wristband, and
cast members will direct you. Like I think one year it was in that little by Wine Country, there's sort of like a little wine cellar place that they sometimes put like future projects and sort of like Imagineering stuff in there. That was a check-in place one year. And then usually there's one at the front. Sometimes there's one over in like Hollywood area. Like they have them in different places. So just kind of ask a cast member, if you do go through those main gates, just be like, where should I check in? And they'll tell you. So it's definitely faster to go through one of those other gates, or not through the main gate, and one of the other side ones instead. So
one of the things to remember about your Oogie Boogie Bash band that they give you is that you have a special QR code on your band. That is your photo pass for the duration of the party. If you're only coming in with a ticket and you don't have your magic key photo pass or ticket photo pass or anything, that is your key to your photo. So when you go up and have a photographer take your photo, or if you go on a ride and you do photos, you want to scan your magic band, your bracelet that they give you. Don't throw it away.
Yeah, don't just like rip it off at the end of the night. Make sure you have
make sure you've like first. Added into your app, downloaded them, because if you don't, then you lose your photos for the night.
Right. Another check-in thing that just occurred to me is So they give you, when you check in, a little bag. I wish I had one here. I might have one here. But they're literally like this big, right? This is your trick or treat bag.
It will be full in
one treat trail.
One treat trail.
Yeah. So if you have a stroller, this is a great time to bring a stroller. Even if your kid won't be sitting in it, bring the stroller because it will save your life. We dump so much candy in the basket of that stroller. We just after every treat tell, we just empty everyone. And the double bonus of that is because people think, like all the cast members are like, oh, you haven't got any candy yet. And then they fill you up even more. Yeah. So anyway, if you have a stroller, great idea. Scooter, great idea.
We had just a normal sized canvas tote last year and it was not enough. It was we were carrying it like this,
emptying it into our friend's backpack, partway through the night. Right. You could rent a locker if you want to go
but
swap
you also want
to
do that early in the day because the lockers will sell out. Because this is kind of what people do to store all that extra stuff, and it gets heavy.
Yeah. So take it into account, especially if you're flying. Because you want to come with a suitcase half full if you're planning to get anything home because it gets heavy. People always have to dump their candy at the airport. Because it's too heavy. And
it's over 50 pounds.
Also, plan to sort it, this is my personal tip. If you are traveling and not just taking it directly home, turn down the grapes and the carrots and the apple slices because they will just sit in your bag and get kind of sticky. And then you have to travel home with them and they're not even really good anymore.
We actually really like to get them, especially if we're doing Oogie Boogie Bash toward the beginning of our trip, is get them and pull them out when we get back to our hotel and put them in the fridge and bring them in for snacks throughout our trip. Because they're actually they're really good. They just don't travel well and they're not, and they make everything sticky.
How everything's sticky. So
we know how you feel about
I don't like things being
sticky.
So, I mean, maybe this is weird, but I would probably actually have alternative bags. So you're oh, it's grapes. Here, put it in this one.
I'm not that dedicated, but I will separate them at the hotel.
Yeah. Get them separated.
Because I'm not saying this has happened, but sometimes you find a bag of grapes a week later. Not a great move.
Ew.
It wasn't in my bag.
Okay, so that's my quick little tip. Bring a large tote. Don't plan on using the little plastic guy.
Or a backpack, or whatever
multiple
bags to haul around because it's a thing.
Another thing is at the end of the night, this is fast forwarding a lot, but at the end of the night as you're leaving, at least the last couple years, they give full-sized candy bars.
Don't leave early.
Yeah, don't leave early.
And don't exit
out the main gate.
Watch where you're exit. Go all the way down Buena Vista Street.
Even if you don't exit out Buena Vista Street, make the loop up to Buena Vista Street and then exit out to the Grand.
Because they have big carts on the way out where they are literally giving you
full size
things of M&Ms and stuff as you walk out. They're delicious.
That was awesome.
So plan on that.
Yeah. Okay, so next thing to make a note of is your costumes. So some people go big with Oogie Boogie costumes. Boom. Themed group costumes, tons of makeup, all the things.
And actually, it's kind of part of the fun of Oogie Boogie is people watching, seeing everybody's
creative stuff. Yeah. That said, if you're just a kind of a low, what's the word I'm looking for? Low maintenance person, or you don't have a ton of luggage space, or you're worried about overheating, or you don't want to go to the expense for any of those reasons, you can definitely just wear a Halloween t-shirt. There's plenty of that. Normal clothes. No one is looking and being you can't come in here because you don't have Halloween attire on.
Although you may feel, out of place.
Yeah. So 1 year I did just a Halloween t-shirt with a little witch hat, a small little witch hat that was on a headband. And I've done everything from that to full group costume. So you can go all out. There's a few things to note. One is you can only wear those costumes in DCA. Disneyland, you're not allowed. I mean, I've seen people go in on their Oogie Boogie day, technically.
The cast members are going to be really on top of you. If anybody's asking to take a photo with you because your costume's so cool, cast members are going to shut it down immediately. They don't want you to look like you're representing the Disney company when you're not.
That you're a cast member. Yeah.
So
take that into account. Mm-hmm. Only go into full costume into DCA. Other things to note, no capes. that are past your waist, as Edna Mode would suggest, capes are bad.
No capes.
That's just a safety issue with like capes getting caught on like a track on a ride, that kind of thing. Same goes, I think, for clothing. Like you can't have like dresses that are fully like touching the ground. You can have long dresses, just nothing dragging. You also can't have your face covered if you're an adult. So like if you can do face paint, but you can't do like a mask that fully covers you. You could do this kind of mask, I think, but you can't have like a full face covering. Kids can.
Like, I feel like I've seen people wearing, like, Incredibles masks.
That level is okay.
But you can't cover your whole face, so no, like, Mandalorian helmets, no, like, don't plan on anything like that. But your kids can wear their Iron Man and Spider-Man mask and whatever. That's totally fine.
Yep. Other guidelines is no gore. So, like, they will make you rub it off if you have, like, makeup on that is really, like really scary or disturbing or like lots of blood. That's not okay. Keep in mind that you're going into a Disney park still, and keep it not scary. Like, gory.
And also no weapons.
No weapons other than lightsabers. Lightsabers are allowed.
That's weird. Yeah. I get it.
But no other weapons. And the other thing I was going to say is just heat. Like, it is so hot at Oogie Boogie Bash.
You think even you're like, oh, by 6 p.m. I'll be okay.
No.
It's still... 80 degrees
at least
for a good chunk of the night.
So nothing, especially think about your babies and your little kids. Like, don't buy those costumes that are like the onesie fleece, like Mike and Sully situations.
I see a lot of Stitches, like adult people dressed up as Stitch in like a zipped up like hoodie.
Don't do it. Think lightweight, think Disney bound, and consider like how you can make the costume that you want to be the least hot as it can be. I also don't think, do they allow blow-ups? I feel like that's also
I don't think so.
Is like the ones that have a fan inside of them that's like a blow-up costume. I don't think they like those. But anything else, and you can read all those guidelines on the Disneyland like Oogie Boogie like guidelines website portion.
But overall, think about, do I even want to wear this? And the answer is probably no.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really want to have a big hot mask on your face all day. You don't want to have a cape that's dragging behind you. Like, you're in a crowd and you're like, just
think it through.
Think about it so you don't get there and have them take away part of your costume and you'll be sad.
Feel like you might die. Also, shoes. Yeah, those cute little high heels are going to look great with your outfit, but you are going to hate life in like 10 minutes.
Bring them in, take a
photo,
throw them
and put them in your bag and put your tennis shoes on. I actually was a grandma a couple years ago and I wore slippers and that was a great decision.
That sounds lovely.
They were lovely.
I'm here for it.
So anyway, just think about all those parts. And same goes with just complications of like, can I walk through a crowd in this? Will pieces of this be like catching on things? Can
I get on a ride and sit safely in a ride with the seatbelt?
Yeah.
And you just
think it through. So this is us telling you.
We got you. We're here for you as you're starting to plan this, because we know you're starting to plan your Halloween costume. Just think about it.
Think it through.
Hey, you've made it into the park. You've scanned your ticket. You have your band. You're checked in. You're ready for Oogie Boogie. You've got your costume. You look great. What's next?
Well, first take a picture because you won't look great for long.
Yeah, and it'll get dark and you'll lose your opportunities to have really good pictures. So make sure to take some photos. The next thing to do is to start thinking about dinner. Because once the party starts, you don't want to waste time trying to figure out dinner. And the wait times on food are far away. Like, it's hard to get a wait time to pick up some food. And also, even if you get a wait time, it takes a while. Like, the pickup times aren't as quick as a norm. So if you normally are like, oh, I can order me a Flo's dinner and it will be ready in 10 minutes. It's not.
It's like 45 minutes. So check in and say I'm here and then
plan that it's going to be like a half hour. Yeah. Because it's just what it is that time of day. We usually plan to get checked in, and order food for about 4:30, honestly. Like, put in if you're mobile ordering, say, I want to pick up my food at 4:30. Pick up your food. You'll be eating by like 5 or 5:15. And then you get to eat your food. And then you decide to go get in line for a trick-or-treat trail.
Which, before we talk about trick-or-treat trails, I think this is a good spot to talk about dining packages real quick. So, because we're talking about the dining situation. When we go for Oogie Boogie in a few weeks, we are going to do or at least at this point we're planning on the Wine Country Trattoria parade dining option. So this particular option is a prefix meal. I think it's $60-ish per adult and about $40 per kid. So it's like a pretty penny. It's basically like a character dining experience, except, I mean, in cost. But you go, you tell them, you need a reservation. And when you go check in, you tell them you want the parade dining menu.
And prefix is kind of relative, because I actually looked at the menu the other
pretty
day,
big.
and it's pretty extensive. Like, it's not just like 2 things to choose from. You've got your normal like chicken parm and shrimp alfredo, and all, like, you've got all of the choices. There's like a couple, like, I think there's like a salad. You and
start
a soup
with like a couple, so something. You get a drink, a salad or soup, a main dish of your choosing, which is essentially the whole menu, and then a dessert, which is prefix. I mean, I feel like that's where dessert, it comes in more.
Yeah,
is like,
the dessert is only
your dessert.
One choice. It's like I can't think what it's called, but those little like rolled up cake
thing. Is that what's called? Like a,
yeah. So it should be really fun and delicious and cute. But
kids usually get a different one.
Oh yeah,
and you can actually request the kids one. I've done this before. so
if the adult one's not
isn't your thing, maybe the kid one is. But anyway, so the point of doing this is, first of all, let's say you want to schedule this between 3 and 4:30ish. You want your reservation time to fall somewhere in there. If you're in the park earlier in the day, like with a non-Oogie Boogie ticket, you could schedule a noon lunch or whatever, and you can still request that at that point. I think you can get it at any point during its business hours during the day.
So the way to get it is just get a normal Wine Country reservation. It's not a special thing in the app. It's just normal Wine Country dining reservation. When you get there, you say, I want the Oogie Boogie parade dining.
Right. And another reason to go earlier rather than later is
they will run out.
There's 2 parade times, and so you have more of a selection of whether or not you want the first or the second parade time if you're one of the people that's there first. It's kind of like with Fantasmic dining. They do the same thing where eventually they run out of the like first show, and then you're just stuck with second show. So there's that to take into consideration. But anyway, you're going to want to do that and be completely done eating in time for Oogie Boogie to start. You do not want to be dining during Oogie Boogie Bash. So
no.
Get that out of the way. And then the benefit of that is you get with your dinner, which is a decent dinner to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. It's honestly, if you were to go and buy your dinner and an appetizer and a drink and a dessert, it's going to be $45. Like, so for another $15, you're getting your dining package. So it's one of those things that we find valuable. But especially also, depending on how big your party is. It's just us. If you've got a bunch of little kids and you know, and maybe the parade, you just kind of want to roll up and watch part of it. It's not as big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like
valid.
You know.
But for me, Frightfully Fun Parade, I don't want to say this because I love Magic Happens, but I love Frightfully Fun. Like,
my only gripe
is that it's too short.
It's too short.
Yeah. Which again shows how much we love it. So they'll give you a ticket, like a return ticket kind of a thing. Sometimes they give you a wristband. I feel like it's different depending on the year, but they'll give you something that indicates that you're to be able to stand in the reserved viewing area at the designated parade time. So typically I feel like for Wine Country, it's kind of over across from Avengers Campus entrance, like kind of up against the vineyard there. That's across from Wine Country, or and from Avengers.
It is standing room.
Yes, that one is standing. So you have to plan a stand. The year we did it with our kids, they did let us take our strollers behind the rope, so they could at least still sit, and we just had to stand behind the strollers. But I don't know if that's like typical policy or what, so maybe don't plan on that. But that was nice. The other option is the dessert party, which we have never done. I hear mixed things about it. If you've ever done the World of Color dessert party, I think you'll understand. And that's basically that it's really fun and you feel really bougie, but you can't eat all the desserts and it is really expensive.
And the other thing is, again, you're wasting party time to do that one.
Yes.
Where the dinner you can do before the party starts. The dessert party is
an experience within
the party.
Right.
So you got to go and sit early and get your food and wait there and wait for the parade to roll through. So it is a time commitment during your party time.
Right.
But fun and bougie.
Fun and bougie.
And you get to sit.
Yeah. Yes, you do get to sit. And so a couple things to note with that. It is $89 per person. You pay it up front, whereas with Wine Country, you could cancel up to 3 hours before, 2 hours before, and you're not charged anything. But with Wine Country, you have to not Wine Country, dessert party, you have to cancel within 24 hours or you get charged the amount. So that kind of sucks. But Anyway, $89 a person, regardless of age, anyone 3 and up. If they're under 3, they can come for free, but they have to sit on your lap. They don't get a chair.
But for adults, it does come with 2 alcoholic beverages.
I think it's 1.
Is it 1?
I was reading the fine print. I'm pretty sure it's 1.
I think the World of Color is 2. So I think that's maybe I have it in my head. But you do get an alcoholic beverage. You get I think kids get like a glow cube. Or is that just World of Color? Am I just making stuff up now? It didn't say.
So maybe not.
So there's things that are kind of nice
alcoholic beverage, unlimited coffee, tea, sodas, and they have like a mocktail, but that I think you can get 1 of. I think it said bottled water, unlimited bottled water, and then you each get sort of like a made up plate. It usually has like a crispy and a little like cheesecake thing and some grapes and some cheese and some crackers and I don't know. So they're all themed.
I know at least for World of Color, because this is again all I'm speaking about. They have like a gluten-free option, which basically just means more cheese and fruit.
Yeah.
So like you just kind of like surrender your treats for like more non-gluten-y things. Okay. So it's not, so just keep that in mind if you're like, oh, gluten-free options. It's not really gluten-free options, just more fruit.
Yeah. So one thing it did mention when I was reading the fine print is if you do need an allergy plate of some kind, you really need to put that when you make your reservation. So like when you go through to make your reservation, it has a section that asks about that specifically. You need to fill that out there because if you wait until you get there and say, I am gluten-free or I have a dairy allergy or whatever the thing is, they probably won't be able to accommodate you at that point. So make sure that if that's an important thing that you do that as you make your reservation. So, and those reservations are live right now on the Disneyland website for both Wine Country and the dessert party 60 days out. Yep, so not all the way through the whole season yet.
So right now you're looking at end of September.
Yeah. So just keep an eye on it if that's important to you.
Is that right? Yeah, end of September. So if you're looking in October, you've still got some time to plan ahead.
Yeah. So that's dessert or dining plans, dessert party and Wine Country.
And how to get your food beforehand. Right. So just make sure you've mobile ordered. Make sure you sit and you feed your kids. Throw a bag of grapes at them when you go through the trick-or-treat trail later if they're hungry. But kind of plan that you either are ordering some stuff ahead of time or just kind of plan that you're going to be not really have a lot of food available to you.
And honestly,
between like 6 and 11.
A lot of places close down too. Yeah. Like not everything is open during Oogie Boogie. So sometimes you're like, oh, I'll just get a, hamburger at Smoke Jumpers at 9 p.m. Like it's not open. So I don't know. I can't remember if there's a list of places to see what is or isn't.
Usually they have a few offerings that are available even only during Oogie Boogie Bash, for instance. I think at Flo's sometimes they have like the spicy chicken fingers are only available during Oogie Boogie Bash. So there's a few things like that.
A few things that stay open the whole time, but I feel like most of the quick service close down by like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And then you're left with basically
and that's
food
about
carts.
When you're hungry.
Yeah. You're like, I could eat. Yeah. And there's nothing. But food carts I think stay open the whole time, like churro carts and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they're not going to get you very far.
No, but
so make sure you've got good filling food in your belly before the party starts.
Before the clock strikes 6. So speaking of the clock striking 6, let's talk about what happens when Oogie Boogie Bash officially starts.
So about 5:45, we like to go get in line for our first trick-or-treat trail. We tend to like to kind of plan it out a little bit so you kind of work in a circle. You don't necessarily want to be going like hopping all over the park all night long. Mm-hmm. You'll waste time. You won't get as much done. And if you see a big, huge line and you're like, ooh, don't worry, just get in the line anyway. Yeah. Everything moves pretty quickly. But 5:45, get in your first line wherever you want to be. And at 6 o'clock, Oogie Boogie comes on over the speaker and welcomes everybody to Oogie Boogie Bash. At that point, everybody else should be already mostly kicked out, honestly. Like, they're checking wristbands at the bathrooms. They won't let people order food. They're checking wristbands on rides. They're not letting anybody be there that doesn't have a wristband. So this is another reason to really make sure you're checked in, you have your wristband, you're ready to roll by like 5:30 at the latest. Like, be completely ready to roll if at all possible. So again, take a cute family picture. Because once you kind of start getting into the party, like, you don't really think about that
wanna
anymore,
stop.
and you don't really want to stop. I mean, you might do a quick picture with a character, but, you know, go up by the Headless Horseman, go, you know, up by the Cars sign.
Grab a PhotoPass photographer and get a couple good shots.
There's a couple, like, photo ops, usually, like, set up, ready for people.
PhotoPass is included in your Oogie Boogie ticket, so take advantage of that. Like, if you see a PhotoPass guy that's in the vest, the kind of greenish, bluish vest standing around, stop them and say, can you take our picture? And then have them scan it. It's free, and you get a great photo, and there's no reason not to, especially if you're just kind of waiting for the party to start.
Yeah, so definitely get all your cute family pictures and your costumes and everything, because as kids melt, as costumes come off, as face makeup comes off, all those things, you're gonna wish
itchy, and
you're gonna wish you had a cute photo. So get your photos, get in line. Oogie Boogie welcomes you to the party.
She's setting this.
And it just like the spooky vibe just like arrives.
There's a
Everyone's
feeling.
there
Everyone
to party.
Cheers.
It's very exciting.
It's so fun. Yeah.
So, and then the lines start moving. You start moving through the lines. Who's your favorite character to meet? Because it changes every year. There's usually a few new ones, but there's also some
seems to always be there.
Always people
like Oogie
there.
Boogie is always there.
Oogie Boogie will always be there.
I actually kind of feel like he's the only one that's been there
always.
Like, I don't think everyone, because like, was
everybody else
Maleficent there last year?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so no one.
Maybe Mother Gothel?
No, she wasn't there at the beginning. It was Evil Queen instead.
Oh, okay.
So
here we go.
So Oogie Boogie it's usually actually where traditionally my family starts.
It's just a good place to start.
It's I feel like it's one of the ones that stays a little busier in general. Like, I don't know. It's in Animation Academy. It's a little harder to like weave in and out from, like the queue kind of wraps different. I just like having it out of the way and knowing I've done it. So I would say maybe Oogie Boogie's actually my favorite, just because he is like such a vibe. He's so intimidating when you walk in there, and he's like, I don't know, like he's got his little costume and his little sound bites, and he kind of looks like he's staring you down. So I like him a lot. I also love Maleficent and Mother Gothel because they're so funny. Like, they just talk. They say the funniest stuff.
I actually haven't seen Maleficent because I missed her the first year that we were there, and then last year she wasn't there. I really hope they bring her back again this year. But Oogie Boogie, I remember my daughter thought it was the funniest because he said, "You look like trouble." And so every time she brings up, she's like, "Called me trouble." Like, she just thinks that it was like the cute, like, she just thought it was so fun. So he's great.
Ernesto's an impressive.
Mostly because it's just, you just don't understand
what's happening.
How they make his face look like
He looks like a skeleton.
He looks like a skeleton.
But he's a person.
He's also like entertaining to listen to. Like, he sings,
Excellent.
He'll chat with you, and you know, he's all saucy, you know. He's just fun.
I like him a lot.
So we enjoy him.
Okay, so I really hope, although I don't think my wish will be granted, I really don't want them to bring back Dr. What's his name?
Oh, they're not bringing him back.
And also the other one. Both the guys that they had. The Roger Rabbit villain and the... What is the...
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6 guy's name? Something. Anyway, I don't like either of them. They were just mad.
I don't think they're bringing him back. I think they brought the Big Hero 6 guy because San Francisco was brand new, and the Roger Rabbit guy was supposed to be classic and whatever, but he was just
loved
like
him, but I didn't.
I don't know that anybody loved him.
A lot of Roger Rabbit fans, which are their own breed, liked him. That was it.
We're sorry if anybody loves Roger Rabbit.
Sorry, we still like you, but it's not going to change our feeling about Roger Rabbit.
No, I can't with that one. They need to go.
I could honestly
I was bumming a little bit of Agatha. I think she will stick around mostly because her new show is coming out. So I don't think they'll get rid of her.
I love Agatha in WandaVision. I loved her the first couple years I went to Oogie Boogie. I'm just kind of sick of her.
Yeah.
She's been there every year.
Well, and the Avengers universe in general has some good villains that could come and be really interesting. And so, I mean, if they could bring out a Thanos...
Typically, you've got a character at Animation Academy, one over by Hollywood Studios backlot. You've got one over kind of by the Hyperion in that sort of courtyard area.
Which has been Cruella the last few years, but I think...
Again,
Madame
Mim's been over in Hyperion, and Cruella's been back at the backlot.
Yeah.
they're okay. They could go. It's been a couple years that we could switch those out. Why don't they just bring the Sanderson sisters in their like witchy form?
Yeah, actually, when they brought out, there was some...
They brought a book out.
It was a book last year. They brought it down where the Shadow Man usually is. And he wasn't there last year either, but he's really good.
Yeah, he's good.
But when they brought that out, all of a sudden everyone was like, they're Sanderson sisters. Like, I'm sorry, real life Sanderson sisters would be just like...
amazing.
So good.
So good. Okay, so treat trails. You got Hyperion Courtyard. Then you've got Avengers back in like Doctor Strange, Sanctorum. Then there's a treat trail that's not character-based in Cars Land that you just like walk through over kind of by Radiator Springs. Then you got the San Francisco one. And then down on Pixar Pier is usually Sid. And then there's one kind of up behind Grizzly Peak, like the backside of like Grizzly River Run, sort of.
Backside of water.
Yeah, backside of water. And then one down by Soren in that sort of little alcove
by the airplane.
Between the airplane. I think that's all of them. Is that right? Does that sound right
so.
to you?
Did you say the one across from Grizzly Peak in the little, where there's sometimes food booths? In that little alcove?
Is there a usual... Well...
That's where Ernesto was the first year.
Oh, yes, you're right.
If you're planning your treat trails a little bit, try to work in a little bit of a circle, whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise. Last year we fully started like Oogie Boogie and went around the Hollywood backlot into Avengers Campus, down through Cars Land, through San Francisco, down to the pier. Like it was very much like a loop. Or you could also start the other way, like go down to by Soren and then Grizzly Peak and then down to the pier and like kind of circle your way back. You just, because you don't want to be going all over the place. And if you, like we said, if you see a long line, it usually moves pretty quick. You don't need to worry too much. You're never really going to wait more than 10 minutes in a line.
I don't think I've ever waited more than that.
So just plan to be really methodical to make the best of your time. You do need to plan in there that there are 2 parade times. One is around like 9-ish and one's like 10:30-ish. 10?
I'll have to look that up. We'll put it in the show notes, but I feel like I want to say it's more like 8:30 and 10.
8:30 and 10?
Something.
I'm pretty sure the last one's at 10 because I remember every time when we've done the 10 o'clock, you watch it and you still have time to go do like a ride or another trip. You still have some time after the parade to go do a couple more things.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure it's like between 8 and 9 somewhere because I feel like that's the time when it's really full because little kids are still like really gung-ho and I don't think it's before 9. I mean, I think it's before 9.
You just want to make sure to plan in your parade time whenever you want to do. Little kids tend to do the first one if you think you can't hang till 11. If you can hang, usually the 10 o'clock one is a little less crowded. So you have an easier time kind of rolling up and just watching it as it shows up. I'm not 100% sure on directions.
I think usually it starts by coming up Hollywood Boulevard for the... Did we watch the first parade or the second one last time?
I don't remember. I kind of think we watched the first one.
Okay, I think it starts at Pixar Gate.
At the Pixar Gate?
Yeah, down by Pixar Pier, by Boardwalk Pizza on that end. Goes all the way up. It exits out Hollywood, like over by Guardians of the Galaxy. Like out that
it goes
gate.
up Hollywood Boulevard, but then circles into Avengers Campus and out.
Yeah, and then it comes back for the second one.
Yeah.
So I think, but ask a cast member.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and it kind of depends, like where it ended the night before will affect where it starts the next day sometimes. Like if they had to cancel one or whatever, sometimes it's off. So just ask.
Yep. The other thing to keep in mind with your night is Villains Grove. So this is something you don't want to miss. It is a big chunk of your like ticket value, really, overall. Like wouldn't you say, as far as
one of the very unique offerings that you only get there. Yeah.
So you're not going to see it any other time. It's just kind of a walkthrough. You usually start at the line. I mean, the line starts at Redwood Creek and often goes clear down to like Soren. Even if it is clear down to Soren, again, like things move pretty okay.
Yeah.
If you can get into a line that's shorter, then
like if you're gonna be at
down
like
by the
Grand
airplane,
Californian entrance,
hop in.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like the lowest times are during the opposite parade. So like if you're not going to the first parade, get in the Villains Grove line as the first parade is starting. One complication is you want to make sure you're on that side of the parade route before that starts, because otherwise it's hard to cross. So don't be like over in Hollywood Boulevard and be like, I'm going to go to Villains Grove, because you'll have a hard time like getting across the rock.
Just kind of want to plan too. Again, this is all about working in your circle. If you can have an opportunity and you're there, just go get in the line. Don't be like, we'll come back later, because you probably won't, honestly, based on, you'll end up hopping in an opportunistic ride line, or you'll go through another treat trail, or you'll be like, like, it's a little, like, I mean, you got to plan for it if it's important, or really take the opportunity right when it's right in front of you, because your time goes faster than you think.
Yeah.
So Villains Grove is just kind of a fun little walkthrough. It's perfectly good for kids, and it's not like scary or anything. You can't take strollers, though. You can't take strollers. So they need to be able to walk through, or you can carry your baby through or whatever, but it's not hard to, like, it's not like
I've
that
baby
long
worn,
of it.
like baby worn my baby through it without any trouble. You go up a few sets of stairs, because if you know where Redwood Creek Challenge Trail area is, it's like, it's got some like different levels to it, and so you sort of kind of go up, but you're not like scaling the nets or anything weird. It's just sort of like a little walk.
You just walk through. And there's like cool light, the way that the light plays like on certain things. They have different projections. They have music that's a little like spooky, eerie, not spooky like scary, but like kind of eerie. And they've got like little villain hints here and there. Really pretty projections of light up into the trees and stuff, where you're just like feel like you're in this big glitter bomb. That's cool. And you always, I don't know if you've ever seen on social media, always the big thing is like the like smoke tree that you walk through, where it's all like bright light against smoke, and you walk through and it's just like your silhouette kind of disappearing into the mist
lit
and stuff
from the front, so like it's like washes out your front, and you just kind of see like all the...
So take your opportunities to take your photos. People can pass you. You can pass other people. Once you're kind of in there, you don't have to like
your own pace.
Stay in your own line. You can kind of let people go by you if you're like taking a photo or a video or doing like, feel free to just kind of tuck off to the side and let people pass you, or move or pass people if people are, it's not a line. It's just like a experience.
It's a suggestion.
So once you're in there, I mean, don't pass people in the actual line.
Yeah, that'd be rude. So yeah, I think that's Villains Grove, and I feel like that covers most of the basics. Oh, one thing I did want to mention, historically, Mickey's Halloween like dance party has happened during Oogie Boogie over in the Disney Junior building. It's kind of like one of the more like kid focused aspects of Oogie Boogie. They've actually taken that out this year, and they're just going to be running that daily on the normal Disney Junior dance,
which is great
situation.
On a lot of ways.
Because it means
you can do it. You can do it during normal times. You
don't have to calculate in the time, because
you don't have to waste your time. I've never done it specifically because I've done all the other stuff.
Well, and they usually only have like 3 or 4 shows of it through the whole Oogie Boogie night. It doesn't run the whole night.
It's not like constant.
It's like 6 and 7:15 and 8:20, and then you're done or whatever. Yeah. So it's kind of nice to not have to like math that into your night. So, but realize that, and if you're like, they usually have this, they still do. It's just not during Oogie Boogie hours. It's during normal park hours. So just make sure you go do that. And if you're not going to Oogie Boogie, go do that. So.
The only other thing to think about with your characters, so when you go through the designated character treat trails, you're kind of walking through. You can kind of stop and take a little selfie, but it's not like you don't get like designated one-on-one time with the character. You're kind of, it's almost like they're doing a little show up there, and you get to walk through and see it, but you're not getting specific one-on-one time. However, there's also character lines that are like your normal character line that you would have to go meet Mickey at Disneyland or whatever. It's where you sit and you wait in a line, you walk up, you get all your photos, you get one-on-one interaction with them, and that's more, those happen throughout the park, and you can do those, but please don't waste your Oogie Boogie Bash time in like a 2-hour line for the Sanderson sisters. I know they're amazing, but when you've spent that kind of money,
is this worth $100?
Yeah.
Because that's the portion of your ticket that you'll end up spending in a line.
So it's just something to really think about, is just like for one photo, unless it's a character that's really important to you, you know, maybe.
I guess there are those,
you know.
but we're just not character people, so I guess it's hard for us to understand. But just generally, it's the same thing why we say, like, don't sit and eat during your time. Don't do any. I don't ride rides during Oogie Boogie. Like, don't do any one thing that is something that you could do another time, or that is not like make or break. You know, I don't know. It really, the time flies.
Yeah.
It goes so fast, and all of a sudden it's done. And even if you map out your time kind of carefully, you still, like, you have bathroom breaks, and you have waiting for parades, and you have snack breaks, and you have, you know, all the lines and whatever, and pretty soon your time's just gone. So
Yeah. And it's really, really fun. I mean, just enjoy the experience for what it is, and don't even necessarily be like, well, we haven't done all of the things. Like, do the things you can, enjoy the night, try to plan, set yourself up for success by, like, not being starving when the party starts, and, you know, set yourself up to be prepared for it, but, like, just have fun. It's just fun. So
it's fun. It's just fun.
It's just fun.
Maybe look at a map beforehand. They give you a map, I think, when you get there that has, like, where all the characters are, but maybe
we will
Google
be sure
it.
to post it too.
Yeah, we'll have it on our Insta stories at least at some point, and that gives you a bit of a lay. I think there might even be one up on our website from previous years, if I'm not mistaken. But you can kind of go through and sort of map it out in your brain. If you're not very familiar with Oogie Boogie or with DCA in general, it can kind of give you a feel for the lay of the land and sort of the direction that you want to take. But definitely clockwise or counterclockwise is our suggestion. Don't do this because it helps.
Or some people actually, another good way is some people will go fully straight down to the bottom of the pier first and almost split it, like start at 6 o'clock and then you're like kind of opposite of all the 12 o'clockers. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of like opposite
because most people
the
start
crowds.
at the front.
A lot of people start at the front. So if people are starting like 12 o'clock and some people are going this way and some people are going this way, some people go straight through
and then you're here
and then they go like this. Yeah. So if that makes sense.
I thought it made sense. I think that's a good tip. Because I don't, like I said, I always start at Oogie Boogie, which is at the front of the park. So stay tuned, because I would guess we're going to see announcements of official characters very shortly. Like,
I'm sure we'll get some
the next week or two.
New ones.
Yeah, I hope so.
I would eat my hat if it's all the same people.
It won't be all the same people, but I worry because they put time and energy and money into certain sets and stuff that they may be more hesitant to pull out one that was just introduced last year.
Maybe, because in my brain, the cauldron that the creepy doctor guy puts the cartoon into is Maleficent's cauldron that she usually has sitting there by her. They know how to reuse
Recycle
whatever
the
they're
pieces.
doing for different characters.
I don't know.
So
I feel like the first year honestly had like pretty much the best setup. It was like Evil Queen, Maleficent, Oogie Boogie, Cruella, Facilier, Mad Hatter, which I did not love. I was glad he went.
Oh yeah,
I didn't really
I forgot about him.
But I swear Sid's been there forever. Maybe he's been there the whole time.
Maybe. No. I don't know that he
Who was there before him?
It could have been an empty treat trail down there.
I guess that's true. And I kind of feel like maybe Agatha's been there the whole time. But maybe it was Agatha all along.
But I don't know that Avengers Campus was there, though.
Maybe not pre-COVID.
It wasn't there pre-COVID. So, Avengers Campus at all.
So that right. But ever since Avengers Campus has been open,
she's been there.
She's been the one in Avengers Campus.
For sure.
So,
well,
anyway. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you guys have questions, you know where to find us. You can find us on Instagram at Just Off Harbor. You can send us a message on YouTube, on Instagram, in our email from our website. We are very accessible. So track us down if you have questions. And of course, if you like this video, you found it helpful, please share it, like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, all the things. Because that helps us be able to bring this content to you in the future and lets us know that you like it. And stay tuned. We'll have more episodes coming up soon.
This was fun. Thanks for being here.